Every day at GTE, thousands of employees are on the job in company vehicles, driving in crowded city streets, through residential neighborhoods, and on country roads. In each of these areas, there's a deadly hazard drivers need to watch out for. And that's it right there, railroad crossings. Train vehicle collisions are the #2 cause of serious and fatal accidents among GTE employees on the job, second only to accidents involving more than one vehicle. Ironically, train vehicle collisions are one of the easiest accidents to avoid. So why do they happen? In the next few minutes, we're going to show you and give you some rules to live by when approaching railroad crossings. Because regardless of how well a crossing is protected, you should always consider it a deadly crossing. With all the safety precautions surrounding railroad crossings, it's hard to believe train vehicle collisions happen. There are warning signs, bells, flashing lights, and gates to prevent motorists from driving into the path of a train. And yet it happens, thousands of times each year. Railroad crossing accidents involving GTE employees on the job have gone up dramatically in recent years. And yet they can be avoided by using a little extra caution. Railroad crossings are clearly marked to give drivers plenty of time to slow down, stop, and look for a train. There are even signs urging extra caution. But warning signs only tell you a crossing is ahead. They don't tell you what kind of crossing guard is in place. There are 3 kinds to look for. The protected crossing with a gate, used in areas with heavy traffic flow. The protected crossing without a gate, just flashing lights and bells, in areas with moderate traffic. The third type is an unprotected crossing. No lights, no bells, no gates, only a pole with cross arms saying, railroad crossing. Use extreme caution with this kind of crossing. Come to a complete stop and look both ways before driving over the tracks. While the unprotected crossing is the most dangerous, fatal accidents occur at all 3 kinds. The Federal Railroad Administration says most fatal accidents occur because drivers ignore warning signals. How often have you done this? A study by Pennsylvania State University says people think of trains as an interference to their daily routine. According to the study, when warning lights at a crossing begin flashing, drivers don't know if they'll be delayed 5 minutes or 15 minutes. The uncertainty encourages them to race the train. It's a deadly game. If you win, you save a few minutes. If you lose a lifetime. Take the example of Tom here, an installer maintainer. He's a hard worker, good at his job, always careful. He's running a little late today. He's having a problem cleaning up his last case of trouble. It's his wedding anniversary. He has dinner reservations in about an hour.
Come on. Yeah, dispatch. Tom here. I finally got clear at 6:10. Hey, I'm running a little late. Would you give my wife a call and tell her I'm coming, but I'm going to be late? Yeah, it's our anniversary. I got reservations for, less than an hour. Hey, thanks. I appreciate it. Come on.
happened because he was in a hurry. Trying to gain a few seconds cost Tom his life. Don't you make the same mistake. Here are a couple of rules that can save your life. First, expect a train anytime from either direction. Second, never assume anything at railroad crossings, especially if you cross the same tracks frequently. Most crossing accidents occur within 25 miles of the victim's home, at familiar crossings. One GTE employee was killed at a crossing he drove over every day. It was similar to this one, in a rural area with no gates. The only trains he ever saw were slow-moving freight trains. As he approached the crossing, he could see the train's headlight a couple of hundred yards down the tracks. Plenty of time to beat a slow-moving freight train. He was right, except this time it wasn't a freight train. It was an Amtrak passenger train traveling nearly 75 miles an hour. It only took a couple of seconds for the Amtrak to cover the 200 yards. It hit the driver's side of the van, killing the employee. Besides following the two rules of expect a train anytime from either direction and never assume anything at railroad crossings, the best rule is stop, look, and listen. It's possible one fatal accident might have been avoided if the victim had followed these rules. Dick Loney investigated the accident and explains how it happened.
After talking with witnesses and piecing the evidence together, we believe the accident happened because the employee didn't see the train, even though he apparently looked both directions. The crossing was one like this one, at the edge of a wooded area. The tracks intersect the road at a slight angle, and the train was coming from that direction, and the employee was coming from the tracks from that direction. The wooded area blocked his view on the passenger side. Also, the closer he got to the crossing, the more the tracks were almost behind him on the passenger side because of the angle. He had a clear view out the driver's window. The tracks stretched away from him, and he could see for several hundred yards that the direction was all clear. But we think his view out the passenger side was partially blocked by the woods and his door post. He didn't see the train, and he wasn't wearing his seatbelt. As a result, he didn't have a chance. If he had stopped to get a better look in both directions, the accident might not have happened. But instead, he drove onto the unprotected crossing, assuming it was safe.
It's a deadly crossing when you assume it's safe. Don't take chances. The train can't stop. You can. If you do approach a guarded crossing that seems to be malfunctioning, look for another crossing. Not only is it unsafe to drive around a crossing gate that's down, it's against the law. Railroad crossing accidents are the #2 cause of fatal and serious injury accidents among GTE employees on the job. Don't you become a victim of the deadly crossing. Remember, anytime you approach a railroad, always expect a train from either direction and assume nothing. Stop, look, and listen. These are rules to live by.